this is a major piece to this whole puzzle of what the fuck's going on in this reality. People like to call this other shit Illuminati cards. No, this is the real deal here. This is the real deal right here. And this is exactly what's going on in sacrifice. Somebody's playing cards and we're paying the price for it. As ludicrous as that sounds, that's the case. So again, this is the real truth movement. I told you find out where this 369 is emanating from, or 963, and you'll find the reality of what's going on, and it's this. And I don't know who's playing, but I sure wish they'd fucking get a new deck. Whenever you add it up, but she's never really there. You don't see it. It's always a sum of 2 or 3 numbers. This is the reality. This is the reality. This is the actual truth movement. Is this. Finding out what the fuck this is. Because once you figure out what this is, I think it's a major, major piece of the puzzle. It ain't the end-all, be-all, but I'll tell you what. As far as this truth stuff goes and figuring stuff out, I ain't seen nothing bigger. I didn't create it because it was around long before I got here, but I'm telling you what, I'm pretty hip to this thing now. And it keeps showing up. This thing here. Okay, 9. These are frequencies. Okay? There's 963, 369, 639. That's fine. That's one triangle. Okay, here's the other numbers that you don't see so much of, but if you watch the news stories, you'll see those too. The main thing is to identify where this is emitting from, and then who is picking it up. Then you'll know the truth. That's the real truth movement. Is finding out where this is being emitted from and who's receiving it. Okay, it isn't David Icke and them and this and all of that bullshit, or all of these other things that just leave you more confused. This is the reality. Okay? This is the reality. Our reality is being created by whatever this story is, and this thing, and all of this. These are codes, these are keys, these are unlocking something, but where are they being emitted from? And who's manipulating them? That's the reality. Okay, when I first came on YouTube, I used to leave videos more confused than when I came on. What changed my mind, it led me in a certain direction that I did, is in the King James Version. If you go look in the book of Amos, A-M-O-S, 5:26, it said that the Creator said to the Jews, you're still worshiping that star that you made unto yourself. The name was Chiun. Chiun is the Assyrian word for Saturn. If you look on the it's not New York Times, it's the New Yorker magazine, and I showed it, many of you know it. It says Saturn, and then it shows the center of the earth. It says the star that you made unto yourself. If you look at the Jewish flag, what is it? It's a hexagon with 6 points around it. If you fold those points in, you get a 3-dimensional cube. That's the same 3-dimensional cube that's sitting in the UN prayer room. Okay, that's how all of this started with me. Okay, there's nothing else besides that. It was one verse, and I was trying to figure out why in the heck would the Jews be worshiping Saturn. And that's what's led me to all of this stuff. When I finally figured out that Saturn was 9, I started seeing in news stories, and then I started seeing 3s and 6s. Okay, if you add those up, 6 and 3 is 9, and 9 is 18, and 18 is 1 plus 8, it's 9. And then all this stuff started clicking together. And there was a lot of people that fought me, but there was a lot of people that stepped in and threw little things here and there that they found, and so that's where I got to the point where I am now. But it all stemmed off of that one verse that says, why are you worshiping the star that you made unto yourself, Chiun, and that word that is Saturn? Okay? It's not Jew bashing night. I could give a rat's ass because the whole world is underneath the power of that star. Whether that thing sits in the center of the earth or whether it considers itself, as written in the occult, where Saturn said, I am the north, south, east, west, top and bottom. Well, that's 6 parameters, that's a cube. Okay, where it says I am the first and the last, that's your Alpha and your Omega. Where it says that Saturn said I am. The picture of God sitting on a throne with a long white beard, his father, time. Okay? There was somebody, Jesus, but I don't think it's written exactly the way that they've got him in the Bible. But there was a son of the Creator, and somebody's tampered with some stuff. Because when you see a story that's that old, then this reality has been hijacked a long, long time ago by somebody for some reason. That's the truth movement, is finding out where this is originating from and who's picking it up. People can't just be sitting down and writing this. It can't be happening. It's too in-depth. I mean, for fuck's sake, they're passing off murdered kids and stories. Okay? Are they, who's doing this? Are they claiming this as their own? It's definitely code. I don't give a fucking rat's ass. You guys can believe me or not believe me. I'm right about this stuff. This is bigger than any. This is bigger than any conspiracy you could ever imagine. Because it goes back to the beginning of the world. The black hand, whatever you want to call it. It's been around for a long time. Okay, so you guys can keep looking for the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds. Nah, this is so far beyond that. This is light years separated from that stuff. So this is the reality. Watch the news. Watch the numbers. Watch the stories. There was something on the news today. I was on my way to the airport. I found it very interesting. There's something going on such a high level that it's a big card trick that's being played. But all I'm trying to do is I'm just throwing stuff out here trying to help people out. I'm just a stupid fucking tree man. I climb trees for a living. That's all I do. It's just critical thinking and be very observant to things. There's patterns to this. All of nature is a pattern, but you're seeing it in news stories. Are these things happening or are they not? Is it a story replaying itself, and so some computer program is just writing it so that the story plays itself over? I don't know. And here's our mayor wearing black and purple. That's indigo, so that's a Saturn color. And this is a Yahweh color, which is a Yahoo, which is Saturn as well. And here's the golden apple and the return of the golden age of Saturn. You see? It's very easy to read this stuff. Really easy to read this stuff. It's ludicrously getting easy to read this stuff. Like I said, you figure out where this 369 is coming from. We know that at least in the old days they were using tarot cards. Now it's probably been encoded into computers. Where it's coming from and where it's going to, and you'll find the truth of what's going on in this reality. That's the reality. That's the truth movement, I'm telling you. Because now finally we have something that we can put our hands on and say, we can prove it in the news, we can prove it in old writings. It goes all the way back to the Bible and before that. So now we finally have something in this so-called truth movement that we can actually hang on to, that we can show numbers that are correlated with disasters, that are correlated with tarot cards, which has to do with a spiritual aspect that's encoded in computers. This is the avenue to find it. I didn't find shit. I just pieced little things together until I ran across that picture by accident when I did, remember the video where they said 4 burning houses? Houses are in astrology. Okay, and in the houses are tarot cards. So I just took a guess, and I went in and I researched for houses in tarot cards, and I ran across that thing. So big break. But isn't it interesting if you look at that thing, because it's if we look at this thing here, it's night. So this 3 is day, this height is night. And it's interesting because here you have 33, 66, and 99. Right? It's interesting, this is the night, like the dark night rising, right? All this is sacrifice. All those 369 stories are people getting killed. Okay? Hurricane Sandy hit New York at 6:01 p.m. Okay? Now I'm sure that's not what this means. I'm just saying it's very interesting to me. So finally, we got something to lock into this. At least we've got something to work with. Now, we got to figure out who's pushing it and who's receiving it. And then we'll be to the next step. Because what this thing is, you remember the Kabbalistic tree of life I showed you? It's basically that thing turned into this thing. And these are gears, each one of these rings, and when they move, you get different codes, you get different combinations, different things. It's like playing a card game. You know, people call these things these Illuminati cards. No, this is the Illuminati cards right here. These are the real Illuminati cards, not the bullshit they're showing you. These, right here. And they probably have this thing worked out into a real nice computer-coded graphics and everything else. Now, who's carrying this shit out? Is this being carried out by humans that are just being given directions? Or is this really happening from some other realm, and it's afflicting this one? I don't know. But we got to keep working on this until we figure it out.
I know. The bird, she stopped to sing since I went and